Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Samuel Burns, and welcome back to Duke Blue Devils football. And we are here against Georgia Tech on the road against the 15th ranked team in the country. Going to be a tough test for this Blue Devils team. The number 1 and 2 rushing offenses in the nation. Georgia Tech with the number 1, Duke with the number 2. Not very prolific passing offenses. Obviously, both teams run a triple option offense. It should be a great game. We're going to hopefully see if the Blue Devils can improve to 3-0 on the season and get their first ACC victory under head coach Sam Burns. Georgia Tech proves to be a formidable opponent, but can the Blue Devils get it done? Well, let's find out. And the Blue Devils start with the ball here, already with a long 3rd and 13, but Thomas Sirk's going to hook up with star running back Sean Wilson for a 16-yard reception. That's his first catch on the day. Now 3rd and 14 later on the drive. Sirk looking on the right side. He's got Max McCaffrey down inside the 30-yard line, a 26-yard reception. The triple option hasn't been working early. As you can see, we've been losing a lot of yards, but the passing game surprisingly has got us down into Georgia Tech territory. Now, 1st and 10, Sirk is going to hand off to Pierre up the middle, and Nico Pierre is going to go ahead and rumble ahead for 11 yards to get a first down, his first carry on the day. Now, 1st down and 10, triple option, handing off to David Rees up the middle, and he's going to get the first down, an 11-yard gain right there for the tight end. Now, 2nd and goal, faking the handoff to Pierre, pitching it out to Powell, and Shaquille Powell powers his way into the end zone for a 6-yard touchdown as the Blue Devils are going to take a 7-0 lead on Georgia Tech. We're going to get a quick studio update. NC State takes down Virginia 31-10, but honestly, this isn't the game that really is sparking our interest here. As we go ahead and look at the next update, Texas Tech absolutely demolishes number 10 TCU 55-24. TCU falls to 1-2 on this young season. Probably going to drop into the 20s in the top 25, if not out of the top 25, with a blowout loss to an unranked team like that. Well, back to this Georgia Tech offense. Well, not back to it. Their very first possession, as Justin Thomas is a very, very tough quarterback to contain. But we contained him right there. Now it's 3rd and 11. Thomas actually going to have to throw the ball. Nowhere really to go. Great coverage downfield. Can we get to him? And he's going to go ahead and find Willis right there coming back to the ball. Just not enough pressure as Isaiah Willis is going to get 36 yards on 3rd down. Here's another 3rd down. 3rd and 10. Thomas once again back to pass. Both teams having trouble with the triple option early, as Austin McClellan's going to get 10 yards right there, and Georgia Tech would tack on a field goal as he couldn't get the first down. So after a 3-and-out by Duke, Georgia Tech with the ball again, and now we're starting to see the triple option open up as Justin Thomas going ahead for 25 yards right there. He is obviously a very good rushing quarterback. That's why Georgia Tech has him. So 1st and 10, handing off to the running back right here, and he's going to rumble ahead for a first down. Broderick Snoddy, what a great name, might I add, with his first carry of the day going for 17 yards. Now 1st and 10 for Georgia Tech, handing off to Scov up the middle, and he is untouched until about the 19-yard line where he's taken down. That's a 23-yard gain for Patrick Scov. 1st and 10, Thomas fakes it to Scov. He's going to take it himself, and he's no! Norman couldn't wrap him up, and he somehow gets the pitch off to Broderick Snoddy, who walks into the end zone, and Georgia Tech is going to take the lead here 10-7. Unbelievable that our starter linebacker could not make that tackle. So back to the Blue Devils offense as Sirk's going to pitch to the outside for Shaquille Powell on 2nd and 11, and he's going to get 10 yards. That'll set up a 3rd and 1. But first, that's the end of the first quarter. We're hanging around with the 15th ranked team in the country. I feel like we're pretty evenly matched teams. And, this is the game we expected. We expected it to be a good game, expected it to be a tough game. This isn't FCS East. This isn't Appalachian State. So 1st and 10 later in that drive, going to find Sean Wilson. He's got some blocks out across the 40, down to the 30, taken out of bounds at about the 28-yard line, a 39-yard reception on the screen. And Thomas Sirk with 86 yards so far in the first half. And now here's Sirk running the option, and he's going to go ahead and keep it himself. On 2nd and 10 is going to get 9. That'll set up a 3rd down and 1 for the Blue Devils. And a pretty good run right there by Thomas Sirk. Now 1st and 10 later in the drive. Sirk once again going to keep it himself and go up the middle for a 6-yard run right there. That'll set up a 2nd and 4. Now here on 3rd and 6, Sirk back to pass, fires on the right side, finds Max McCaffrey for the 11-yard touchdown reception, and that is Sirk's first passing touchdown on the season, giving Duke a 14-10 lead. He was wide open. Great pitch and catch right there with the stud wide receiver. So back to the Georgia Tech offense. Thomas, 3rd and 1, pitches it out to Broderick Snoddy, and he's got some blocks on the left side, and he is taken down for a 13-yard gain, more than enough to get the first down right there. Now 2nd and 9 later in the drive. Thomas keeping it himself this time, and he's got making guys miss, and finally dragged down from behind. Justin Thomas, 16 yards right there. Now 3rd and 10 later in the drive. Thomas back to pass. He's going to fire on the right side, and a missed tackle, and the Yellow Jackets are into the end zone. Ricky June with the 37-yard touchdown, as Justin Thomas is showing he's a pretty formidable passing quarterback as well. Now back to Sirk in this offense as Sean Wilson on 2nd and 12. He's going to make some guys miss, and he's out across the 50. There's nobody in front of him. To the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Blue Devils. And Duke reclaims the lead just like that. 2 plays on that drive, and Sean Wilson with the huge touchdown run. He has been our big play guy this year, putting us up 21-17. Now just 2.5 minutes to go here, and somehow Thomas gets that pitch out to Broderick Snoddy, and he runs for quite a ways, a 29-yard run right there. Now 3rd and 12 later in the drive, 1.5 minutes to go. Thomas is back to pass, and he's looking on the right side. A beautiful pass right there to Isaiah Willis. Now 2nd down and 8, 1:28 to go. Shotgun formation, Thomas back to pass, and he's going to go ahead and take off himself, and he slides down. Probably could have had the first down, but he's going to get 7 yards right there to set up a 3rd and 1. However, Georgia Tech could not convert that. They would kick a field goal, and that would take us to halftime as Duke leads number 15 Georgia Tech 21-20 at the half. It's been a very great game so far. The triple option offenses were struggling early. As you can see, we actually had more passing yards than rushing yards there in the first half. Georgia Tech did have more rushing yards than passing yards, but both teams over 100 yards passing in the first half. Definitely not something you see from 2 of the worst passing offenses in the country, but these are the top 2 rushing offenses, and we've seen flashes of that. So Georgia Tech gets the ball to start the half, and it's going to be Skov up the middle on the first play of the half, and he's going to be taken down from behind after getting 30 yards. Patrick Skov. 1st and 10. Justin Thomas is going to keep this one himself as the pitch man was played right there by Duke, and he fumbles. Luckily, it rolls out of bounds for Georgia Tech, so that's a 17-yard gain for Justin Thomas. 1st and 10, Thomas keeping it himself once again, and he's just going to take off up the middle. Great cut right there as Georgia Tech over 200 yards rushing now on the day with all the rushing they've done on this drive. So 2nd and 1, Thomas is going to be hit, but he pitches it out, and Isaiah Willis walks into the end zone as Georgia Tech takes the lead 26-21. The 2-point conversion would be good. 28-21 your score as Sean Wilson on the outside, and he is brought down for a 16-yard gain. Sean Wilson once again having a great game. 1st and 10, Sirk going to hand off to David Reeves up the middle, and he's going to go ahead and get 10 yards. That'll set up a 2nd and inches as we got about 6 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. And Sirk going to the outside, just one guy to beat, and he played that perfectly. Sean Wilson's going to go into the end zone untouched. 29 yards as Duke is going to tie this game up at 28. We're going to get a studio update here. As you see, number 7 USC is having all sorts of trouble with Boston College. That one's 17-14 with just 9:54 left in the 3rd quarter. We'll keep an eye on that one. 2 undefeated teams in that game, both 2-0. We'll see if USC can pull that one out. But we really do need to go ahead and get a stop here, and we did. Georgia Tech ends up going 3 and out, so back to Thomas Sirk in the offense, and Jella Duncan stays on his feet. That was incredible. Jella Duncan down to the 20, inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. 57 yards, as you'll see right here, just gets the pitch into him, and he's bumped, but puts a hand down, stays on his feet, and proceeds to run for about 40 more yards. 40 to 50 more yards after that. That was a huge play by Duncan as Duke is now in scoring territory, threatening to take the lead, and Cirque just going to pitch out to Sean Wilson, as Wilson's going to get his 3rd touchdown run on the day, and the Blue Devils lead 35-28 with 1:52 to go here in the 3rd quarter. So 1st and 10, Thomas is just going to keep this one himself, and he runs over a defender and finally brought down after a 14-yard gain. He's up to 97 yards rushing on the day. 2nd and 10, Thomas, play action pass, and firing on the right side, and he finds Isaiah Willis, a great catch right there for 16 yards. Now 3rd and 9, play action again, Thomas, firing on the left side, and it's intercepted! Jeremy Cash, the star free safety, picks it off. That was an inadvertent throw, and now Duke in control of this game with a 7-point lead and the ball as we head into the 4th quarter. Just an ill-advised throw right there by Justin Thomas, really showing why he's more of an option quarterback. That route was triple covered, and Jeremy Cash takes advantage. As we head to the 4th quarter, the Blue Devils have a 7-point lead on the 15th ranked team in the country. Georgia Tech definitely on upset alert now if they weren't at the beginning of this game. So 4th quarter time, can Duke get it done? So 3rd and 2, 6:45 to go. Cirque keeping this one himself, pitches outside, and Shaquille Powell runs over a man. That was a tough 3-yard run right there to get the 1st down. Definitely needed that one. He's not having the best day, but he's made some plays when we needed him. David Reeves now up the middle on 2nd and 4 is going to get 5, and that's another 1st down for the Blue Devils, his 3rd carry on the day. 3rd and 3 now. Cirque picking the handoff, and probably could have pitched it there, but doesn't. Staying safe here as the Blue Devils are just going to go ahead and settle for a field goal to go up by 10 points with just 3 minutes to go in this game. Georgia Tech with their backs against the wall now. 2nd and 13 here for Georgia Tech. Thomas is back to pass, just 2:49 to go. Fired on the left side. He's going to find his man. That's Brad Stewart with a 17-yard catch. 1st and 10 now. Thomas back to pass. Firing on the right side. He's got a man wide open. It's June, and he is down to the 15-yard line and then dragged down by his face mask by the cornerback. So tack on some more yardage to that one. Huge mistake by this Blue Devils defense as Byron Fields tacks on 8 more yards to an already huge gain, and Georgia Tech is threatening to score now. 2nd and goal, 2 minutes to go. Thomas going to keep this one himself, and it's a missed tackle right there by Carlos Ray at the initial read, and he's just going to walk into the end zone. And that's going to set up this onside kick with 2 minutes to go, and it's recovered by Shaquille Powell. Like I said, he didn't have the best day rushing, but he got the job done when we needed him to. So here we go, 3rd and 7. They've used 2 timeouts. We need a 1st down to win this game. Thomas Cirque, he's got some room on the right side, and he's going to get it. 10-yard run right there on 3rd and 7. And just like that, Georgia Tech's comeback hopes are dashed as we are able to run out the clock on the next 4 plays. Sean Wilson with 212 yards of offense, 3 touchdowns as the Blue Devils upset number 15 Georgia Tech in their house. Sean Wilson, your player of the game, 137 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, along with 75 yards receiving. That was a huge win. We definitely needed that one. I definitely feel like throughout this dynasty, Georgia Tech is going to always be a formidable opponent for us. The triple option is so hard to stop. That's one reason why we're running it here at Duke. And Georgia Tech's, they're the masters of it. We're still trying to implement it in our system. But it worked out here. We got the job done when we needed to. Definitely our defense needs a lot of work. Giving up 35 points was not what we needed there. But they have a pretty good defense too, and we ended up putting up 38 on them, and it was enough. So anyways, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this episode of the Duke Blue Devils Dynasty. Next week, Duke is going to be playing Pittsburgh. So we'll see if the Blue Devils can keep their undefeated season alive and improve to 4-0 on the season. So once again, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next week.